There's plenty of risk when it comes to investing. Yet there's something that's hidden that if people could understand, uncover, and kind of calculate, allows us to be more productive as individuals. It's kind of the gateway to prosperity. So in order to teach this concept and the value behind it, I'm going to begin with a story. It was a dark, frigid December night with below zero temperatures. I'm driving through Wyoming on I-80 East. Look, it felt like the middle of the night, but in reality, it was barely after 8 p.m. My girlfriend, Carrie, and I were running late getting to Green River, Wyoming, where we were meeting up with my uncles for a little trip to Jackson Hole. In my early 20s, I drove so slowly, and Carrie said I was like an old man behind the wheel. This was kind of a residual impact of getting in trouble with my mom for speeding tickets in my teenage years. Not that I was going that fast as a teenager. It's just I was a teenager, get picked up sometimes. So I was still worried about getting a speeding ticket because my mom used to be pissed when I would. And I was really pushing this night to my limit, setting the cruise control at 80 to 75, huh? What a rebel. I guess Carrie was kind of right to tease me. Now, as I looked around, there was snow everywhere. Well, everywhere but on the road ahead. The ground looked so polished and black, almost shiny. I mean, shit, could this be black ice? I lightly touched the brakes to kind of kill the cruise control. And the car immediately loses control and starts to spin. It's like being on a carousel. My heart's racing. My palms are sweating. Just keep spinning around. I throw my arm over Carrie and I say, hold on. We're going to roll. I didn't manage to say that. But everything really feels like slow motion in those moments. And after 2.5 spins, we're moving backwards. And as we slide backwards, pretty much at the same speed we were moving forward, the nose of our car is facing the grill of a diesel, coming straight at us at 80 miles an hour. My adrenaline's pumping, my heart's racing, and I feel an imminent sense of danger. Brace yourself, I say as I start to turn the wheel. We start spinning again 1.5 more times. We slide across the ice and snow down to the median separating I-80 east and west. We start sliding and we start going up almost to the other side to the oncoming traffic, and finally back down, back in the median, and stop. We stare forward, not speaking a word, just breathing heavily and not quite sure what happened. Reality sets in. We are lucky. A few hundred more feet forward and we're going to crash into a concrete barrier. The only reason we didn't roll is because the road was solid ice. And even though we felt relieved to a degree, we were now afraid. Fear took control. Fear was now running the show. What to do? What to do? Should we continue on? I mean, I get out of the car, walk around, look around. The back bumper is packed with snow from the median with weeds hanging off of that snowpack. The closest city was actually Green River, so after taking several deep breaths and embracing each other, we finally forged ahead. If Carrie thought I drove too slow before, well, she's on the same page with me now. I tested just how slow a car could go on I-80, 5 miles, maybe 10 miles an hour, being passed by car after car. Did they not know the risks? They were now putting us at risk. Look, this was so long ago that we either didn't have a cell phone or a cell phone service, or I don't know. It was the year 2000. It could have been either. We drove so slowly that pedestrians could have passed us. It was excruciating and frightening, and it felt like time stood still. We finally got to my uncle's house, where they were debating over whether to leave us, and we're actually pretty close, but we finally arrived. I just threw my keys to my Uncle Drake, and I was like, I'm too shaken to drive any further. His wife and daughter get in the car with us, and my Uncle Page takes his girlfriend in his truck. And I just recount the terror of the story to my uncle in my car, and man, I told him how we were frightened and worried, and I got to tell you what, it was a mistake because things immediately got worse. He decides to tell us his close call stories. Even he's looking back at us instead of watching the road. I'm like, watch the damn road. My heart's racing. I can see Carrie's heartbeat through her neck, and she's grabbing my hand the same way she did later in her life when she was in labor with our first son. This is the aftershock of a traumatic event, of a near-death experience. As my uncle drove, we were ruled by fear. Shell-shocked from the 4 spins, and now the terrain was even worse. We worried about the cliffs or much steeper than anything we saw on the drive to Green River, and now I wasn't in control. As my uncle drove, I was afraid to speak up, and fear controlled every thought and emotion for the rest of the drive. Just before Jackson, we even saw a bus that had crashed into a snowbank. Did nothing to slow him down. How often do we do this with our conversations in life? Not wanting to seem weak or hurt someone's feelings, so we just silently suffer. We sacrifice. We toil in torment. The last leg of the drive to Jackson Hole, I was looking for any evidence of why we're going to die or slide off the road, and yet I didn't say a word. Carries in my heart just continued racing. This is what the scarcity survival mentality is like. At a young age, it was hard for me to speak up, even when it mattered most. Often people in scarcity remain quiet when it counts and complain when it doesn't. I was triggered by my experience because the icy road was a blind spot. It was a risk, originally unbeknownst to us, but now potentially lurking at every corner. All I saw for the rest of the drive was danger. All I knew was fear. When we're young and we don't know any better with money, it's easy to be seduced by risk. Crypto gains, real estate appreciation, and bidding to get these properties because it's so popular. Bull markets with stocks. We take risks due to the greed gland that's expanding and it's feeling like we're missing out, or we simply figuring everyone else is doing it. Why not us? But when we hit the financial black ice, that's when things change. People move to cash. They swear off investing. It's almost like when I drank in my 20s. I never really understood the consequence until I went too far and then had to throw up, swearing it off forever. But forever only meant until I forgot the pain. This is the ebbs and flows of investing. Fear and greed, ups and downs, forgetting and making mistakes, time after time. It's just a matter of how long before that time passes. When I hit that black ice, there was no more joy. The trip was no longer fun. I wasn't dreaming about Jackson Hole any longer. I was just trying to survive. This is what happens to people when they lose money and they don't utilize investor DNA to become a better investor. You know investor DNA, your core values, your abilities, it's your abilities, competencies, it's your drivers. And it's when you focus on what you're best at so you become a better investor. This is why it's such dangerous dogma to believe that high risk equals high return, or to chase returns without a plan or without protecting the downside. This destroys dreams and lives, and it invites fear. Fear and survival. Most people live this way every day. Paycheck to paycheck, bill after bill. Where will the money come from? What can be done for safety and security? Work harder? Sacrifice more? Worry all the time? This is how most of the human race operates, in fear, in scarcity, scarred from past experience. Their version of barely getting out of life, tough economy, career change, bankruptcy, market losses, these are the black ice moments in life, leading people to believe in a zero-sum, winner-takes-all competitive world of take what you can and holding on to whatever you have. In this dangerous world, people are worried that they'll make a mistake or that they're not enough, and they just simply worry. Protection and preservation can prevent prosperity. How I drove after hitting the ice was protection and preservation. But if I would have known about the conditions, had some contingencies, or any other option, things could have been different. Because education and prevention are key. So what's the difference between protection and preservation and education and prevention? Well, it's reaction versus proactivity. That's one. When we play not to lose, we live in fear and we're governed by scarcity. When we utilize education and take precautions, we can remain present with certainty, and with that certainty comes the possibility of being able to be present. Look, we're all in store for financial surprises. Yeah, with the proper planning, 90+% of those surprises, they don't have to derail us at all. They don't have to destroy our life, finances, or enjoyment. They don't have to spin us out of control like I had. There is a value to certainty, to knowing. It's an economic value to certainty. If I was certain the roads were clear and safe, I could drive without fear and make more progress. But being caught off guard, feeling blindsided, that created a new reality of concern. On the other hand, if I knew the roads were icy, I could have prevented spinning and feeling out of control. I could have chosen a different path, driving in the day, taking a flight, or putting on studded tires with grip in the winter. There's several options for risk management. So where have you been blindsided with money? What lingering worries about money does that leave you with? How does that impact how you feel about your finances? Where do past blind spots, aka black ice, impact your life? I mean, do you feel behind? Are you unclear about your financial risks? Are you exposed due to a lack of asset protection, estate planning, and insurance coverage to transfer your risk? Do you worry that you don't have enough savings and liquidity to handle a career change, economic turmoil, or even a health challenge? Are you concerned that your investments might not perform or still judging yourself for past mistakes? Are you unclear about your financial plan and what to do next? Are you wondering when I'm going to stop asking questions? Look, if you've answered yes to any of these questions, there's a high likelihood that money concerns and worry are creating stress and running in the background of your mind, slowing you down and robbing your peace of mind and joy. They say ignorance is bliss, but it leads to risk. There is an economic value to certainty. I want to give you more certainty. GarrettGunderson.com/freedom. There's a free course right there. Economic independence, financial stability, finding the financial blind spots. I want you to know what you can count on and what will be there. Who's in your life to let you know about blind spots? Do you have an awareness of what's working or not working in your financial life? How will you gain knowledge to illuminate the truth of your financial matters? Hell, in today's economy, there's so much black ice, inflation. You can watch my videos on quantitative easing and fractionalized banking. There's tax changes, a lot of videos on how to save on taxes. There's interest fluctuations, those are rising. There's insurance costs, they're funding every commercial out there. There's asset protection, investment fees, and risk. Look, awareness is key to avoiding the black ice before you spin. Here are the top 5 things you can create certainty with, therefore increasing your abundance, removing your blind spots, and allowing you to swing for the fences in your life. First one is create financial independence. We have enough cash flow from your assets to cover your expenses. Take the course, GarrettGunderson.com/freedom. Number 2, protect your downside. Focus on risk management and mitigation to keep more of what you've invested. There's so many videos I have here on this YouTube channel to support with that. Plug your financial leaks. Utilize the 4 I's. There's videos on the 4 I's. IRS, investments, insurance, interest. Stop overpaying on tax and interest, or learn to detect and remove the hidden fees and commissions with investments, and remove duplicate coverages or improper policy design with insurance. Put that money back in your life. Number 4, create enough savings for personal peace of mind. Have that liquidity that's available for you. Number 5, regular education, like this video here, to increase financial knowledge and literacy. These 5 guidelines are like guardrails. Just like when my kids were small and we went bowling, they had bumpers, right? Just like driving in the mountains with the railing protecting you from every cliff. It's time for you to face your financial truth to create certainty in your life so you can be confident in your direction. Without this certainty, risk will reign and fear will confiscate time and wealth. Financial intelligence is key. Knowing where you are set, knowing where you aren't set, and having resources and a team to help you see the blind spots and avoid the black ice. How can you create more certainty in your life today? Go to GarrettGunderson.com/freedom. Grab the course and take control of your life. Hey, thanks for watching. I appreciate it. And if you're enjoying these videos, well, there's good news. More where that came from, so go ahead and click through and watch the next video now.